How's it going? So I want to make a very quick video on how does engagement optimized matchmaking system works and how to manipulate it so you can balance out kind of the unfairness of the system a little bit, okay? Basically, like what I'm saying is that it's a rigged system, but you can manipulate it in such a way where you can make it a little bit fairer on yourself, right? Okay, so one of the guys I know, he was in silver 3, and then I said, hey, we're gonna just get you to gold and we're gonna win every single game. And I'm not a smurf. You have to understand, I'm not a like challenger player myself. We're gonna duel queue, assuming that his rank is correct, he's silver. That means I'm about like my peak was diamond 5 long time ago, about 8 years ago. So I haven't played games seriously in a very, very long time. So what I'm saying is I'm not a high skill player, so I can't boost an account with 100% win rate unless I know a secret. And that secret is how to manipulate engagement optimized matchmaking system, right? So I'll show you the results, right? So this is the results. So every time you see Nasus, that's basically me. So you see 80% win rate in here. So we lost only one. I swapped account, so you can see it in, let's see. So that's Nasus, that's me, Chill Out is also me. Here we lost. I played here Tryndamere into Nasus, I trolled. Anyway, but overall, bottom line, right? So this is my account, that's 80% win rate, then 100% win rate, 100% win rate on another account, and then this is another game which is also 100% win rate on another account, right? So we played 11 games and we won 10. The only reason why we lost was because Pike just AFK'd. I don't know why he done that. And then we basically almost won the game. Long story short, technically I would count that as a win, but anyway, it doesn't matter. 91% win rate is crazy. And I'm not a high elo player. So how was I able to do that, right? So that's because I understand how the engagement optimized matchmaking system works. And I'll explain to you exactly how it works, okay? One sec. All right, so it's kind of maybe a little bit of follow-up to this video. I'll link this in description below. You can watch the videos in here, and it will show you that in old games like Mortal Kombat, you had cheating AI, right? So what happened is there was a difficulty setting inside the game. So, and difficulty setting ranged from 1 to 9, right? 9 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. So how does it work is that it will determine what percentage of time the AI in Mortal Kombat is going to dodge your abilities, okay? So when it's 1, it means it's 10%. So every time you hit a character in Mortal Kombat, let's say you're playing, I don't know, you're playing Ken and Zangief versus Zangief, right? You try to hit Zangief, it's going to land. He's only going to dodge 10% of the time. So you're going to land almost all of your abilities, right? Now, when it's set to 9, it's 90% he's going to dodge. So at that point, it's cheating because you simply can't land hits on him because he just dodges everything. Do you understand? And the problem is he's hitting you, you can't hit him, you can't win at all, right? So you can watch it in this video here. I hope you understand percentages, right? Because I mean, this is YouTube. But what I'm trying to say is when this number is low, it's very easy for you to win. When this number is high, it's impossible for you to win. Okay, so we put this easy win, impossible. Now, Riot has identical system. I noticed I've been playing around with it. I did a lot of experiments. They have exactly the same system, right? So their system works like this. We start with also difficulty rating. Now, to be clear, this is not matchmaking rating. Matchmaking rating is different. They have a what I call like winners and losers queue, engagement optimized matchmaking system, where they purposely put you into positions where you simply cannot win the game, right? How do they do that? That's, look, we have 5 players. Well, probably it would make sense to, basically it's exactly the same system as in here. So we need to I need to take a step back and explain how in Mortal Kombat you get from 10 to 9, okay? So how does in Mortal Kombat you go from 10 to 9? The more you win, the higher the difficulty goes up, okay? So as you start winning, the AI just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger to the point where it becomes completely unplayable for you, okay? So now let's go back to Riot. They have exactly the same system, and it's called engagement optimized matchmaking system, right? So what's happened, as you start winning, your team starts to become worse. Enemy starts to become faker. Do you understand? So the more you win, the difficulty keeps increasing to the point where your teammates is Saraka top lane tank, your jungler is Shaco, and your ADC is Lulu. Okay? And your enemy is basically ADC is Tristana, support is Nautilus, mid lane is Victor, top lane is Malphite. Okay? It's unplayable for you. That game is unplayable for you. So, how can we okay, well, let me just go through the, okay, so that's basically at some point it will be impossible for you to win, right? So what happens is as you start losing, difficulty starts dropping, and then you start winning. So think about Mortal Kombat. Why was it done like that? Because as you start winning, difficulty goes up, you start losing, it starts to go down. It's a very important point. It starts to go down as you start losing. As you lose, it goes down. All right, so all you have to do in Mortal Kombat to win is, to finish the game, is lose enough times so the difficulty sets to 10, and then you get to win. Does that make sense? So let's say we are, one sec, let me just, okay, so in Mortal Kombat you have a ladder, which is like, you see, you start at the bottom, and then you start to, the more you win, the more characters you beat, the closer you get to the final boss. So if you get to final boss, how do you beat the final boss? If we want to make the most money, which is the companies do, you have to lose to him enough times where the difficulty is going to reset to 10, and then you can land all of your hits. Because if you keep winning, what's going to happen is that the boss, it will be possible to beat him, because it's not because he's the boss it's impossible to beat him, it's because you just can't land any hits on him, but he can, right? So the idea is very simple. It's to manipulate your psychology so that you lose, you'll be like, God damn it, I want to finish the game. I already climbed so high. I want to finish the game. You put in the quarter, you lose again. You'll be like, oh my God, I landed few more hits. If I can land few more hits, I can definitely get this guy on, right? You put in more coins. You almost beat him this time, because you have to remember the difficulty is dropping as you keep losing, right? You put in the quarter, you almost won. So you're psychologically very motivated. You'll be like, dude, I'm almost there, right? And then you put in the final quarter, boom, you finish the game, okay? So do you understand the principle is that this is all designed to manipulate your psychology so you can keep going, keep playing, and maximize revenue from the session. Because in Mortal Kombat, Every time you start playing the game, it's called a session, and then they try to maximize revenue relative to your skill. So League of Legends runs exactly the same model. Bottom line, the more you win, the worse it gets for you because your team gets worse and the enemy gets better. So, League of Legends is free. How can we take advantage of this system? What you do is, the more you lose, the better your team gets. And the worse the opponent gets. Okay? So, in a dual queue scenario, what can you do? If he keeps winning, right, which is going to happen, his teammates are gonna get worse, but his opponents are gonna get better. So what you can do is you can pair him with an account where you have colossal losing streaks. Colossal. I'm talking about like you're just hard inting and your win rate is like less than 20%. Do you understand? So you will have one account where you will have difficulty, let's say 90, and then you're gonna have second account in dual queue mode where difficulty is gonna be 10, right? So this balances out for you. So then games become a lot more even. And even games, if you play well, you can win, right? In fact, if you play well, they're usually stomps. Because in League of Legends, the problem is usually not who has the best player wins. It's usually who has the shittiest player loses. And the reason for that is I asked ChatGPT. Let me show you. I chatted who has, so I asked a very simple question. Who has higher agency in League of Legends to get the outcome that they want? One person wants to lose the game. One person wants to win the game. They are both on the same team. Okay? Who will have higher probability of achieving their objective? The hard inter versus the guy who's trying to win, the smurf. And the inter is going to have higher chance of losing the game than the guy who's trying to win the game. Do you understand? So if we take 10 games, the loser, the inter, will usually lose the game because they have more control over how to screw up the game. Because winning in League of Legends requires teamwork, it requires very high level of efficiency, and it's a very delicate game. So you can screw up very easily in the game. That's why everybody's like, you know, when they're playing, it's like everybody's so toxic. It's because the game, winning the game is so difficult, but losing it is so hard because the agency on the losing side is colossally high. And I already tested it myself. I made a video on, let me find the video one sec. Yeah, so this video here, I'm gonna link it in the description below as well. Let me just make a note of this one sec. Okay, so what I did was basically I took one champion, gonna be a winning champion, and one champion is gonna be a dirty inter. Okay, so I played Nasus for winning games, and I was achieving like crazy numbers, like 86, like 92 win rates, like consistently like winning 7-8 games in a row. It was not a big problem to win. On the flip side, but I have to say it was difficult to win. And then what I did was I also took on reverse, just 100% lose. Can I lose every single game? And it was way easier. Occasionally you still win because the enemy surrenders too early. I don't know that, like, but you will notice just how much easier it is to lose a game relative to winning the game, right? So I'm just saying that. One sec. Yeah. So where I'm going with this is that League is not really about who has the better player, and it's not about your skill. It's about avoiding bad players. If I were to sum up League of Legends, how do you win games? in one sentence, I would say avoid bad teammates. That's it, right? So in this scenario, now let's go back to this model here. So let's just go back to this, right? So in the system where you lose 2 games in a row and then you play 1 game to win, so you see Kane was always losing, and then every 3rd game, sometimes 4th game, I would pick Nasus and I would just win the game. So you see, I would balance it out. So why is that system good? Because when your difficulty level goes down, all the good players or normal players that don't do stupid shit are going to be on your team. All the AFK trollers, Soroka top lane, Lulu ADC, Shaco tank are gonna be on the enemy team. Alright, so this is if you are in here. Okay, so this is green zone. Red zone, we already discussed, it's gonna be the reverse. All the trollers are gonna be on your side, all the good players are gonna be on the enemy side, right? So what happens if you pair them together? The system will prioritize this one. So this is higher priority. So that means most of the time, all the good players are still gonna be on your side because the system is more interested in making this guy win than getting this guy to lose, right? So think about, they are running engagement optimized matchmaking system. So what will make people play League of Legends more? Winning or losing, right? So we're trying to minimize. I'm trying to make it simpler, but I don't know how to make it simpler. Like, think about, you are a business, okay? And you want to make sure that people keep playing. And you are now in a situation where you have to make a choice. Next game, one dude has to get a loss. So he has to get a loss because he is too high on difficulty setting, okay? But unfortunately, they are dual queuing, and the guy he is dual queuing with has to get a win because he is too low on difficulty setting. So now we need to make a decision on this game and say, okay, what will increase the probability of both of these players playing this game and also the next game? Making this session a loss or making the session a win? And I will bet you in the system, the setting is make this a win. All right? Because if this guy wins, it's probably unlikely he will get too bored with winning, right? Whereas this guy, if he keeps losing and losing and losing, he will eventually lose motivation to play. So for the system, it is cheaper and more productive to simply make this a winning session. And I can prove that because that's exactly what I've done. I have multiple accounts. They are omega inting, right? Like the MMR in there is like Iron 1. And I'm talking like I'm some crazy numbers in there. Some of them, right? It's just, and these accounts I had like 2 years even ago, and I when I did some experiments, I mean, they're just like crazy inting going on in there, right? So what happened? We simply got all the good teammates, and all the inters went on the other side, and that's it. I mean, you should see that, like, one of the games we played, where's the game with Vi in here? The guy just kept jumping into us for no reason whatsoever. This guy here. This guy, if you get him on your team, there is no way you're going to win. He just keeps inting and inting and inting. Look, 13 deaths. Every time he has ult up, he had to ult somebody. He just had to do it. And this guy couldn't land a single hook. Like, it was just like, it was unbearable to watch. And yet somehow, according to the system, these guys are the same MMR as this MVP So he was playing Zahin, right? Look. Out of 11 games we played, he was MVP 8 games, right? So he carried 8 out of 11 games. And according to the system, somehow this Vi and him are the same player. Do you understand? In my opinion, like engagement optimized matchmaking has a setting where it can estimate, it can kind of do this, it can estimate what rank are you going for, right? So let's say it thinks you're going for gold. It knows that if you reach gold, the playing time is going to decrease. It's going to just completely go down because you reach your goal, you reach gold, you're not interested in playing League of Legends, maybe I'll play something different, right? They do not want that. They do not want that at all. So what they do is they say, okay, we notice that if we put him into silver bronze, he starts to play more. So what they do is they drop you below your desired rank. And then you just start playing, and then it basically put inters on your team, you drop again to silver, 4, bronze 1, you climb back up, almost gold, you almost made it, boom, inters on your team again. It's very similar to Mortal Kombat, right? You're almost there, you almost beat him, just put in another quarter. And in League of Legends, that quarter is your time. So that's, you have to understand, just it's very, 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 very advanced at this stage. But underneath it, the system is very, very similar to Mortal Kombat system. It's very, very simple. So, what am I trying to tell you is if you want to have 100% win rates, high win rates in dual queue, you have to have one account which is good, and then you have inting accounts, and then you dual queue with the inter, and then your teammates are going to be good. Because again, my biggest concern in League of Legends is that I'm not really that kind of, I would prefer games to be balanced, but the problem is the inters. I just don't want to play with inters, and that's it. And the way to get rid of them is, there's only 2 ways to do it, right? One is you either dodge a lot, and I also made a lot of videos on dodging. I think it's a fantastic strategy. The problem is, as you start winning, the difficulty variable starts getting close to impossible, and you can visually see it as you're winning. Like, as soon as you reach about like 4 to 5, maybe 6 wins in a row, oh my god, the lobbies you're getting. Like Nami every single game, 18% Rengar, 18% win rate Rengar. And you're just like, your dodge rate is gonna be like 95%. You can only play 1 out of 20 games. I already tested this strategy, so dodging, I can tell you 100% beyond shadow of doubt works. The problem is that it's way too time consuming. Way. In a whole day, I played 1 game. I remember, like I said, and I dodged. It was close to, it was obnoxious number. Like it was like 30 times I think I dodged or something. So it's not very efficient strategy. The best strategy is the one I'm proposing, which is the 2-1 system, where you simply lose 2 games and then you play 1 game seriously. I would still definitely check your teammates, but I will bet even if they pick champions that are not very strong, or you think that they're troll pick, they're going to perform well on them. Because it's probably something I should have maybe covered a little bit earlier in the video, but in my opinion, I think League of Legends has boxes. In programming, we call them buckets normally. So the buckets, well, let's call them boxes, okay? Each box has a label on it, which is good player, Smurf, unstable, and then bad player. So something, I'm oversimplifying, there's probably a lot more of them. Okay, so look, we want to create a session where, and these are kind of like boxes, okay? I'll just give them some color, okay? So, you log in, you want to play a game, we call this a session. Okay, so we want to create a winning session for this guy. So what do? We take from this box and we populate his side from this box. And we populate the enemy side from this box. Maybe we give them one good player, so it looks fair, but overall, 4 players are gonna be from here, 1 player is gonna be good. There's gonna be 2 Smurfs in here, and 1 good player, and then this guy here who is not very good, right? He will be probably from this box. And obviously, because technically this session, this game is gonna be won, even if this guy ints hard inting. He's still going to win because that he's playing against himself multiplied by 5. So all the other team, all the Smurfs are simply going to carry, and that's it. And we won games. I'm gonna post a video where we literally 4v5 them. There was game with, who was the Vigar game? Yeah, this guy here, look. He has no CS at all. He didn't even farm for the whole game. He just sat there. Look, 103 CS. He had 8 CS at 7 or 6 minutes. He basically just didn't play the game at all. He just walked around. We got very demoralized and thought, oh my god, that's our first loss. But then, of course, we saw how the enemy is playing, and we were like, okay, I think we can win this. And of course, we are both efficient players, right? It's still important to play well, but League is like, it's more about dodging the bad players than it is being good. If all there was to League of Legends is get good, I would not be making videos of how to manipulate videos. I would say, hey, here are some CS drills you can practice. Here is a good champion like Riven who can carry the games. Here is how to wave control. Here is how to recall correctly. Here is where you need to be when you're jungling, right? I already tried all of that stuff. The problem is, if the enemy is bad, you can break all the rules, you're going to win. If your team is bad, you can do everything perfectly, you're still going to lose the game. Do you understand? So the game is really about dodging bad teammates, and then that's it. That's the golden rule of League, is to dodge the shitty teammates, and that's it. Okay? So that's what I'm saying, is that there's probably buckets in the system, and it can make sessions. That's why I made a lot of videos on this. Riot says that they have 90% probability of guessing the outcome of the game. So before the game even starts, they already know the outcome of the game. And I know that as well. I know that as well. Because in this video here, you see, like, I look at the lobby. I know I have hard lost my previous 2 games. I know my difficulty setting is probably 1. Right? Because I'm losing more than I'm winning, so I'm lowering the difficulty. I know my difficulty is set at low. I look at the lobby. Naturally, what do I see? I see Nautilus, I see Twitch on my side, and I see Soraka and Severe on the enemy side. So I know for a fact I'm going to win. I don't have to do anything, right? And I prefer games like this than sitting in a game where your entire team is 0-25, they don't want to surrender, and you're just sitting for the next 40 minutes watching your teammates hard feed and not press surrender. So I don't take, I was mapping even at some point, how much enjoyment do I get out of those games? And let's just say it's like negative dopamine and satisfaction, right? So I want to avoid games like this as much as possible. Okay, so that's it. I think that's pretty much. Oh yeah, I wanted to also ask, not ask, but 2 frequently asked questions, in my opinion, would be, does the role matter? So if you're queuing up for top, or you're queuing up for jungle, will this, so let's say you inted on the top, and now you're queuing up for jungle. Does the system care? Is the jungle separate statistics to top? And the answer is no. The system does not care whether you go top or you go jungle. It only cares about win rate, and that's it. Right? The more you lose, the easier it gets. The more you win, the worse it gets for you. Right? So you need to be strategic about how you, like, you have to think in terms of, like I said it in this video as well, is that losing is the price you pay for playing League of Legends. So I said to myself, okay, fine. If that's the price that I have to pay, I'm going to pay it on my terms, which is I'm going to lose the game as fast as possible. So I'm going to minimize the time. Because you have to understand, like, the problem with just playing as they want you to play, like Riot just wants you to play, try hard every single game. The problem is you do not know whether you're in the winner's queue or loser's queue. Even sometimes looking at teammates doesn't always help because you can't see the enemy team, right? Because sometimes they have like triple smurfs, double duo of smurfs, and your team is good, but they're not double team smurfs and they just get stumped. I'm talking about like they just like, it's still gonna be a close game because good players still perform well, but like you're not gonna beat the like quadruple smurfs against you. It's just like you're not gonna do that, right? It's too difficult. All right, so that's what I'm basically saying is that, well, let me just think about it 1 sec. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is that if I am to lose games, I wanna minimize, like the problem is tryharding those games is that you put in the effort, it's very tremendous amount of effort, especially beating like Smurfs, very, very difficult, a lot of effort, and you're gonna lose anyway, right? So you want to kind of be effective with your time and energy. So you know the 2 games you're gonna lose it very, very quickly. You're not gonna try hard, you're gonna rest, you're just gonna do some crazy shit that you wanted to test. I don't know, smiting level 1, or I don't know, just relax for the next 2 games. And then you know when do I need to put in the effort. And that's the game that you're trying to win. You know the difficulty is low, you know your teammates are not gonna troll, they're gonna rotate for objectives. It's worth your time to put in the effort. As opposed to you put in 40 minutes of effort, you're almost winning the game, you are exhausted, you want the game to end because god damn it, right? And then you kill the enemy jungler, you go, okay, finally we're gonna win the game, and then your jungler somehow loses Baron Smite to Morgana stun. Do you understand? Out of that, at that point, you are so tilted, you're gonna absolutely definitely smash your keyboard. Like, you will feel like smashing keyboard, right? Like, just look up videos, YouTube videos of people raging. Well, 1 sec. Yeah, so I'm gonna link this clip as well, so... Like, this guy is just like... That's gonna be your state in these games.
Double kill.
Shen fucking ult me! What are you actually doing? Are you fucking... Hit the Nexus, not the Vlad! What the actual fuck are you?
So, do you understand? Like, it's hilarious to watch it, but like, it will get you to this level, because the problem is, let's say, you had 2 sessions where you almost won it, and your team is just doing stupid shit. I mean, like, realistically, like, it's obvious what Shen needs to do in here. Like, why is Shen split pushing? It's obviously the Shen is not looking at the map. And you have to understand that this is like Challenger Masters level, and they make stupid shit like this. That's what I'm saying. Like, League is rigged, and this ranking system in here, I don't think it works at all, because I've seen people in bronze beat like diamond players. I've seen crazy shit. So that's what I'm saying, that like in here, it's so obvious what needs to be done, right? And you are gonna be or mega tilted, or mega exhausted, or mega angry, and you're gonna definitely play next game because you want all that energy to pay off. Whereas in my system, I'm telling you, don't do that. What you do is you take 2 games and you just relax and you int them, right? You just int. It's actually a bit of a skill set to int the games without getting banned, right? You go, you int, right? You lower the difficulty, and the next game, you look at the lobby. You will start to notice that your lobby, I strongly encourage you to use stuff like Blitz, GG, Professor, tools where you can scout your teammates. And then you will start seeing that your team is just getting better. And even when they do pick weak champions, trust me, they're going to be very good with them. They're going to know what they're doing. They're going to rotate well. They're going to make correct decisions. You're not going to have problems where they just... Like, I had games where we literally won the team fight. We don't need Baron because they have open Nexus. And we have minion wave pushing. All we have to do is just go finish the game. But then jungler just started taking the blue buff. ADC and support started doing the Baron. And then me and the... Who was the ADC support, right? Basically, me and another dude started pushing. Do you understand? Like, the game was won. Like, there is no reason to do Baron, and there is no reason to go take the blue buff. But that's because they're just not using... They're just inefficient players. You have to understand they are from these buckets in here, or boxes, right? They're just... That's why they are in those boxes, because they're just not very good. And they're going to be on your team. I do not want them on my team at all. So the guys that are going to be with you, even though they're going to be not on strong champions, they will do good decisions. They will not die before Baron. So you see, like, you will not have these problems of just people doing stupid shit at all. So, and I can prove you that it works. So we did this solo queue, so you can't scout teammates in here. So again, it's very, very important to lower your difficulty and have inting accounts where it's like obnoxiously bad win rates. And then you pair it with a good, and you're gonna get very balanced and a good team. And then that's it. So this is the... Does the role matter? No, it makes no difference. Bottom line is that if your client, your League of Legends account, it's the same system, whether you're queuing, regardless of the role, they don't take it into account at all, right? So it makes no difference. Another one is, does the KDA matter? And I will tell you, ChatGPT, I asked it, it said no, not really, but I think it does. I think it does. Because I think KDA and win rate factors in which box you enter into in here. So, another thing I was recommending also, like, look, if you're going to lose the game and you know you are, like, definitely in one of those games where it's just not winnable, I would recommend hard inting. Don't try to get good KDA. Don't try to win. That's why Riot is trying to tell you, hey, if you are losing the game, try your best. Because they need to make sure to put you into the correct box so they can then create predictable sessions. So that they know if we put this guy on a team, on a winning team, he's 100% going to lose. Right? So they want to categorize you correctly into those boxes. So what you can do to screw them up a little bit is to put yourself into a bad box, which is when you're inting, so your difficulty is low, and then they say, okay, this guy is a bit of an inter, or he's unstable. We probably need to put good, stable players on his side, otherwise he's probably gonna hard lose. And at that point, you have a good game, right? And that's it. Let me see, did I cover everything? Buckets of players are done. Yeah. So basically, again, League of Legends is all about avoiding bad teammates. So there's only, I'd say, 3 ways to do it, right? One way is the 2-1 system, where you just int on one champion, and then when you want to play series, you play another champion. And then you're gonna have, you'll see like your winning champion is gonna have like crazy win rates, and then the inting champion is gonna have crazy lose rates. So that's one way to get rid of bad teammates. Another one is dodging. It's a good strategy, but once your difficulty rating is too high, then it's just not time efficient to do it. And then this one is a new strategy. If you have dual queue partner, then just go ahead and have one main account, which is you ranking it up, and then have inting accounts that are dual queuing with it. And then it will offset the problem that you have where the better you play, the worse your teammates get, and the better the opponent gets. All right. Okay, I'm gonna link the videos in the description below, and that's it. Take care. Bye bye.